All right, officially welcome to the evening session of this will be day 25 multi-member course. So tonight we're going to be doing introduction to chapter 4, which is entitled The Illusions of the Ego chapter. So we'll cover the introduction and also get, or maybe if we do half of the next section 1 on right teaching and right learning, because that's 13 paragraphs. So we'll do 5 of those and 3 of the introduction, and then we'll do the rest of section 1 tomorrow. How does that sound?
Yeah. Good.
Okay. So live stream link going, and then I'll share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay, so there's the document all ready to go. This is introduction to a new chapter, and the chapter is called Illusions of the Ego. So, John, do you want to kick it off for us? Read paragraph 1, please.
Yeah. The Bible says that you should go with a brother twice as far as he asks. Alternatively, the Bible says that you should go with a companion twice as far as he asks. I didn't know it said that.
Apparently, yeah, it's a quote.
Yeah.
Should go. I think it's one of Yeshua's teachings. If a brother says you need go with him, go twice as far as he asks. Certainly does not suggest, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it certainly does not suggest that you set him back on his journey. It does not suggest that you set it back on its journey.
No, it needs to be him.
Yeah.
The global replace there. Set him back on
his journey. Devotion to a brother cannot set you back either. Devotion to a companion cannot set you back either. Actually, I was reading this earlier on, actually, and I was thinking that the friend of mine who has been depressed for years, and he is draining. Yeah. And I read this and I thought, well, it cannot set you back either. I struggle with that in the sense of with someone who is draining, it is actually setting you back.
Well, I guess then the question is, are you really devoted? Devotion to a companion cannot set you back either. Great, great learning for you. Opportunity to let go of judgment. Letting go of, especially interesting because you've been quite driven in your life. You've done a lot of stuff and achieved, and so he's the opposite. So there's a lesson there. So if you're truly devoted to this teaching, to forgiving him properly, authentically, radically, and It cannot set you back. It can only help you. I think that's what he's trying to say. Devotion. So what does he mean by devotion to a companion? That's the question. He doesn't define it. But devotion would imply unconditional love.
Yes.
So unconditionally loving a companion cannot set you back either. Good translated. Devotion. What does he mean by devotion? Can only lead to mutual progress. I mean, the devotion is hinting at, pointing to unconditional love, I think.
Yes.
So do you want to?
Yes. Yes.
Unconditionally loving. I think because very easy to misinterpret that and say, okay, well, devotion means you have to devote your life to caring for someone.
Yes.
But that's not necessarily what he means.
No, I remember having a conversation with someone about this, and they said, well, if somebody really is depressed, the best thing you can do is just honor that and stop trying to do things. Just be prepared to respond if they, I mean, to keep in contact and be prepared to respond if he ever does for help.
Yeah. And see, correct your perception. See him as the Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is. Underneath that heavy layer of depression.
Yeah.
Is the Christ self that's suppressed and actually is there.
Yeah.
So unconditionally loving him would be to see him in his true self.
Yes.
That cannot set you back because you're seeing the truth in him, and so you're seeing it in yourself. So it can lead only to mutual progress.
Yeah.
Progress being the at-one-ment. You're moving towards more unity, away from separation towards oneness.
Yep, that's good. That's helpful for me as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Number 4, it can lead only to mutual progress, which stays the same.
Or maybe it can only lead or lead only. Can only lead. I think that's sort of more familiar. Only lead to mutual progress.
Yeah.
So
the result of genuine devotion is inspiration. Yeah, that's interesting. The result of genuine, unconditional, genuine love is okay. Yeah. The result of genuine love.
Genuine devotion, well, unconditional love.
Yes.
I think this is what he's referring to as genuine devotion.
Yeah. Yes, actually, when we put it that way, it kind of sits easier than
the devotion.
Yeah. Inspiration.
What does devotion actually mean? The question. It doesn't mean on the level of form you would necessarily devote your whole life to caring for the person. No,
that's the use. That's a good use of translation. Actually, I like that.
That's what we do, just to make it clearer, more understandable, more relevant. It's inspiration.
Yeah.
A word which properly understood
is the opposite of fatigue. A word which properly understood is the opposite of well, I guess fatigue is fine.
Fatigue or weariness.
Yeah.
Also I quite like weary actually, because just weary and weary of the struggle.
Yes. Yep. Okay. To be fatigued is to be dispirited, but to be inspired is to be in the spirit. To be weary is to be dispirited, but to be inspired is to be in the spirit. I was going to say
in the spirit. So spirit is in pure formless awareness.
Okay. To be egocentric is to be dispirited, but to be self.
Yeah. To be. I mean, the idea of inspired is not necessarily you in pure formless awareness, because that would be a revelation, but to be motivated by pure formless awareness.
Yep. That's good. Yeah. To be egocentric is to be dispirited, but to be self-centered is the right sense. To be self-centered in the right sense is to be inspired or in spirit. To be egocentric is to be dispirited, but to be self, capital S, centered in the right sense is to be inspired or in pure formless awareness.
How about to be inspired by pure formless awareness?
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily just resting in that state, because that would be a revelation if you're just in pure formless awareness. But that state of mind is coming through, and it's inspiring, it's motivating you to do various things. And Lynn said yesterday, well, what happens if I go here? I'm kind of struggling with, well, what would be the next step if I really surrender? And it's like, well, you live an inspired life. This awareness comes through, and this directs your thoughts and your words and your actions. You become done through by the spirit. So you don't just rest in pure formless awareness all the time, because that would be, a revelation.
Yeah.
But that awareness is inspiring the thoughts and your words and your actions. And she's like, oh wow, oh, okay, I get it. And so don't just disappear and go into bliss and the body just drops away immediately. But my thoughts, my words, and my actions are now inspired by this presence, this awareness that is deeper than form, that goes beyond form.
Yep. The truly inspired are enlightened and cannot abide in darkness.
Truly inspired or keep enlightened, awakened. Awakened. Can keep enlightened, I suppose. He doesn't use enlightened very often, does he? It's one of the few instances he does use it. He normally uses salvation, awakening. Or enlightened, truly inspired are. So enlightened means, light is this awareness, or it's another pointer really to the same thing. Or awakened, cannot abide in darkness, awakened,
cannot be affected by, no.
I'm awakened from the dream of awakened from their truly inspired or awakened. Awakened from limited awareness. How about that?
Yeah.
Cannot abide in darkness.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do our personalized summary of this. Bible says that you should go with a companion twice as far as he asks.
Don't think you need number 2, do you?
Maybe you can cut that out. Certainly says you should not set him back on his earthly journey. Okay. Twice as far as he asks. It kind of leads you to unconditionally loving a companion.
Just cannot say.
Loving can lead to mutual progress. I think that's clear. The result of unconditional love is inspiration.
John, you need to take cannot out.
Where?
Where you,
Right, cannot. Can only lead to mutual progress. As well as unconditional love is inspiration. Which is the opposite of weariness. To be weary is to be dispirited, but to be inspired is to be motivated by pure formless awareness. To be egocentric. So maybe we want to say, instead of egocentric, to be motivated by a separate self, is to be dispirited, but to be self-centered in the right sense is to be inspired by pure formless awareness. Well, motivated by your separate self is what it means by egocentric.
yeah.
Do that. Change it up there as well. Truly inspired or awakened. So we haven't put any personal. So let's say the Bible says that I should go. Personal, I should go with a companion twice as far, conditionally loving. Can only lead to mutual. So, okay, when I unconditionally love, someone, it can only lead to mutual progress. So think of, what comes to mind here. Good example would be Helen Keller and her tutor, a lady called Anne someone, who came to teach this girl who was really out of control, and she was so devoted to it that she got through to it. So it was an unconditional love that penetrated through all of that fear and craziness that her mind was in, and that awakened, that led to mutual progress for both. Presumably, that Anne also benefit hugely from the relationship. It must have been hugely rewarding to see the effects of her love in this child as she grew. And
yeah,
so there was a genuine devotion on her part to really helping and empowering her. It was unconditional love in action, and it created a person who had a very helpful impact on the world. We still talk about her example now. So that's would be an instance of this, leading to mutual progress. And if you think of Helen and Bill, go with a companion twice as far as the arts. They had an assignment. They were asked to help each other and support each other. So this teaching would have been relevant for them as well. Okay, so do you want to...
It's interesting you mentioned this example of Ellen Keller, right? You say Ellen Keller?
Yeah.
Because I keep having this ad on when I go on YouTube. There's this ad of that speaks about Ellen Keller all the time.
Really?
Now, every time I go on YouTube, there's this ad about Ellen Keller.
Really?
So funny.
When I'm weary, I am dispirited. When I'm inspired, I'm motivated by pure formless awareness. To be motivated by my separate self is to be dispirited, but to be self-centered is to be inspired. And I'm self-centered in the right sense. Inspired by pure formless awareness. I'm truly inspired or awakened. And so maybe we just get another sentence there. I'm truly inspired. All right. I'm awakened from limited awareness. Okay. Do you want to read that from the top, John?
Yep. The Bible says that I should go with a companion twice as far as he asks. When I unconditionally love someone, it can lead only to mutual progress. The result of unconditional love is inspiration, which is the opposite of weariness. When I am weary, I am dispirited, but when I am inspired, I am motivated by pure formless awareness. To be motivated by my separate self is to be dispirited. When I am self-centered in the right sense, I am inspired by pure formless awareness. When I am truly inspired, I have awakened from limited awareness.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I really do like this unconditional love in this sentence here. Actually,
I think it makes it clearer. What he's talking about.
Yeah, it's just a lovely concept.
Hmm. What would unconditional love do? So, that's all you can do with people. A friend is depressed. He may remain depressed for his entire life, but you can still unconditionally love him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It means there's no judgment, you see. Unconditional love requires no judgment. So you've got to drop all the judgments, like, well, get it together, come on, and just go, well, okay, I just I let that go, and I see the truth in him, even if he can't see it. And
Yeah.
he's just a mind that's got lost, but underneath that, he is the Christ. He is as I am. I honor him as such. I must stay. So that advice that the person gave you was quite good. Long-term depression. The temptation is, well, I've got to fix you. Well,
Yeah.
you just got to love them, and that may or may not make it will certainly make a difference to them. In his depressed state, that might be the one thing that gives him some kind of happiness, some kind of hope. His relationship with you. So
it's interesting because I was with a couple of other friends, of mutual friends, and his birthday was coming up, and we were sending him a card. And one person, a lady actually, she really surprised me. She's actually a psychotherapist. Said, "Oh, I'm not signing that." I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, after all he's done to his ex-wife, who she's friends with, I don't want to sign it." And I thought, oh, you're a therapist.
There's judgment, isn't there? It's judgment.
Yeah. And I thought, blimey, you're a therapist and you can't get beyond that.
Well, obviously not a therapist in this school, isn't it? So.
I mean, he has pissed off vast majority of his friends, because they've all tried to do something for him, and he he kind of doesn't respond, or he lets them down. He lets them down quite often, actually. And it just ruins the relationship, and they lose patience with him.
Well, that's that unconditional love is not conditional. It doesn't say, well, I don't love you because you let me down, or you behave badly, or. Well, I guess you got to see that that's the best he can do in his state of depression.
Yeah,
that's the best he can do. For you, your awareness, if you can unconditionally love him and you drop your judgment, then that's helping you to awaken.
Yeah, no, I do see that.
You're letting go of your judgment, so that's you doing it for yourself. And whether he gets it and transforms or not, on some level, there's mutual progress. This is what he's saying. Because the unconditional love you've shown to him might just be the thing that he's holding on to. It might just be, some ray of light in his dark world that inspires him to awaken. Don't know.
Yeah.
But it's certain that kind of judgment, condemnation, is not going to work.
No. Good. Okay, that's great. John,
you want to read it from the top?
Oh yeah. Okay. The Bible says that I should go with a companion twice as far as he asks. When I unconditionally love someone, it can lead only to mutual progress. The result of unconditional love is inspiration, which is the opposite of weariness. When I am weary, I am dispirited, but when I am inspired, I am motivated by pure formless awareness. To be motivated by my separate self is to be dispirited. When I am self-centered in the right sense, I am inspired by pure formless awareness. When I am truly inspired, I have awakened from limited awareness.
And when I'm truly inspired, I have awakened from limited awareness. Okay, so what's he saying there? Pretty simple message. In summary,
Live only in unconditional love.
yeah. And you want to, I mean, the specifics of it, what's he saying there? What's the message?
Yeah, okay. So living a life of unconditional love is inspirational and energizing, whereas to not do so is to lose one's real self, lose contact with one's real self.
Yeah, and feel weary. So unconditional love and judgment is very dispiriting. It makes you weary, and whereas unconditional love inspires you to keep going and you know, to be truly helpful. Okay, so happy with number one. I think that's pretty clear. You can speak from the spirit or from the ego as you choose. Who wants to read that?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can speak from the spirit or from the ego as you choose. If you speak from spirit, you have chosen to be still and know that I am God. So you can speak from the pure formless awareness or from the ego or from the separate self. As you choose. If you speak from spirit, you have chosen to be still and know that I am God. So if you speak from pure formless awareness, you have chosen to be still and know that I am pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Yeah.
These words are inspired because they reflect knowledge.
Okay, knowledge would be capital K.
If you speak from the ego, you are disclaiming knowledge instead of affirming it and are thus dispiriting yourself. So if you speak from the separate self or from your separate self, you are disclaiming knowledge instead of affirming it and are dispiriting yourself. If you speak from your separate self, you are disclaiming knowledge instead of affirming it, and you are and are then or dispiriting and are dispiriting yourself. Or then, yeah. Do not embark on useless journeys because they are indeed in vain. Yeah. The ego may desire them, but spirit cannot embark on them because it is forever unwilling to depart from its foundation. So the belief in separation may desire them, but pure formless awareness of I was going to say a perfect love, cannot embark on them because it is forever unwilling to depart from its foundation.
Yeah, forever, maybe eternally.
The ego may desire them, but spirit cannot embark on them because it is forever unwilling to depart from its source, basically.
Hmm.
From its source
So it's
of love.
eternally unwilling means that it's eternally, spirit is pure formless awareness. That's what it is.
Sorry?
The spirit, that's why we translate it as pure formless awareness. It's the awareness, the fundamental awareness of truth, of love, that by definition cannot depart from its foundation. It's aware of perfect love. Pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay, so shall we have a little read of they just went into I don't know why it's just created a whole space there. Okay. So I can speak.
I can speak from pure formless awareness or from my separate self as I choose.
So should we make this? What do you think? I mean, they're both correct. My separate self or the belief in separation? I think maybe the belief in separation. What do you think?
I don't know. I think they're both. I like my separate self actually because it really speaks. But I mean, they both speak actually. The belief.
Yeah.
I can speak from my separate self, yeah. As I choose. As I choose.
Leave that out. Just remember, this is a summary. If I speak
If
from...
I speak, yeah, it's the summary. Yeah. If I speak from pure formless awareness, I have chosen to be still and know that I am pure formless awareness of perfect love. Yeah. These words are inspired because they reflect knowledge.
Need to be there. Okay. Do we need that? We can take that out.
Yeah. I have chosen to be inspired. Or doesn't matter. If I speak from my separate self, I am disclaiming knowledge instead of affirming it. And then I am, no. And denying knowledge instead of affirming it.
Disclaiming.
Denying. The belief, no, wait. If I speak from my separate self, I am denying knowledge instead of affirming it, and I'm then dispiriting myself. Yeah.
Do not embark on useless journeys. So I should
not embark on useless journeys because they are indeed in vain.
There's a warning us. I should be wary of
useless journeys.
Undertaking.
Of unnecessary, journeys or
useless journeys. Because they are in vain. So that could be a whole distraction. The ego loves distractions. So let's say you're studying the course and then something else comes along and you get sidetracked, you go down another path, or you just stop practicing, you get caught up in worldly things. You go into a special relationship, which feels wonderful to start with, but actually you forget your spiritual practice. These are the kinds of things that the ego can do to make you take a useless journey. It's really just a distraction device to maintain itself. But at the time, it always seems to be appealing. The ego's got this way of dressing it up and making it seem very appealing. But this mind training is helping us to see beyond those kinds of illusions and to see to the truth of it.
My belief in separation may desire them, but pure formless awareness, my pure formless awareness cannot embark on them. Because it is eternally unwilling to depart from its foundation. But my pure formless awareness cannot undertake them. Because it is
eternally unwilling to depart from its
source. Yeah.
Like source.
Yeah, I prefer source as well. Yeah.
Okay, so read that from the top. I can speak from.
Wait, you wrote cannot undertake. Go up on the other one. Undertake them. Take out. Cannot undertake them. Yeah. Okay, so I can speak from pure formless awareness or from my separate self. If I speak from pure formless awareness, I have chosen to be still and know that I am pure formless awareness of perfect love. If I speak from my separate self, I am denying knowledge instead of affirming it, and I'm then dispiriting myself.
We don't need that.
Okay.
Denying
knowledge, and I'm then dispiriting myself. Yeah.
Dispiriting myself.
And I'm dispiriting myself, yes. I should be wary of undertaking useless journeys because they are in vain. My belief in separation may desire them, but my pure formless awareness cannot undertake them because it is eternally unwilling to depart from its source. Yeah.
Maybe we'll say my
true awareness.
True awareness.
Yeah.
Might be better, yeah?
My true awareness cannot undertake them because it's eternally unwilling to depart from its source. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy with that?
Yep.
Okay. So what's he saying there? Summarize that.
So you can choose to speak from source, or from pure formless awareness, or from your separate self. And whatever you choose, and be still, basically.
Yeah, it's a lovely saying. Be still and know.
Be still and know that you are perfect.
I am
formless awareness of perfect love. So by being still, you remember who you are, and you can speak from that truth.
This is a statement of your essence identity.
Yeah.
Be still and know that I am. So on Sunday, get you to say, I am. Yeah, I am what? I am this.
Yes.
However you phrase that. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is one way. Shorter, I am love, I am perfect love. It's to connect with the essence of who you really are. And the phrase just does that. Whatever word or phrase is best. Okay.
But if I deny knowledge, then I'm dispiriting myself.
I speak from my separate self. So I'm denying this awareness
Yeah.
when I
Denying
when I
my
speak.
truth.
Yeah.
The truth of who I am. Yeah.
And then a corollary to that is I should be aware of undertaking useless journeys. Maybe we could say useless journeys of being distracted from my path of awakening. How about that? Because that's really what he means, isn't it?
From my past, no? From my past.
Yeah.
I should be wary of being distracted from my path of awakening. Then you have to leave because they are in vain. You should remove that then.
Because this will sabotage my progress. That?
Yeah.
I desire these distractions. True awareness cannot undertake them, cannot
Allow them.
follow them, allow them, maybe allow them, eternally unwilling to depart from its source. So stay focused on the path.
Yeah.
So the ego will try and knock you off it.
Yeah.
Okay, so read it from the top again. Let's make sure that all makes sense.
I can speak from pure formless awareness or from my separate self. If I speak from pure formless awareness, I have chosen to be still and know that I am pure formless awareness of perfect love. If I speak from my separate self, I am denying knowledge and I'm dispiriting myself. I should be wary of being distracted from my path of awakening because this will sabotage my progress. My belief in separation may desire these distractions, but my true awareness cannot allow them because it is eternally unwilling to depart from its source.
Oh, that's nice. So what's he saying there in summary?
To speak from pure formless awareness instead of speaking from your separate self, if you want to know the truth, to stay in the truth.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sabotage your progress, basically. You have to stay on the right path.
So this is, what he's talking about here is called a spiritual path.
Yes, stay on the spiritual path.
Spiritual path, awakening, and of course the ego will present distractions.
Yep.
To try and get you to depart from that path. I've seen, unfortunately, there's been people who've joined this and they've been really into it, and then they got distracted and something took them off. They went off, and they're not doing it anymore. And I suspect they're not going to be doing this on their own, are they? This kind of intensive reading and studying, because generally requires some facilitation and guidance. So it's very easy. You can there's many reasons where the ego can distract you and take you out of it.
Yeah.
And it's going to try it because obviously this is its undoing. It's going to try and preserve itself by distracting. Saying,
the question is how committed are you? Basically, that's what it is. How committed are you? How willing are you to stay on the path, not being distracted? Yeah, that is the question.
Not being distracted by worldly affairs, worldly pursuits,
external world,
the external world, And this is a big test. This is a big part of the hero's journey.
Yeah.
To stay focused on your journey and not get distracted, not get sidetracked. Because remember, the world is a massive distraction device.
Yeah.
Designed to distract you. That's the whole point from your path, and get you to focus your attention elsewhere other than on the inner self and this journey.
Yeah, the hero's journey, exactly.
Yeah, because it doesn't want you to awaken, wants you to stay as a slave of its mind. You are then host to the ego.
That soul system, yeah.
So he's telling us here we need to stay focused on our path, and if this is resonating with you, which evidently it must be, otherwise you wouldn't be spending these hours. Then stay true to it. This is a spiritual path which will take you to full awakening. This is full enlightenment. That's what he's promising. No, there's no half measures. This will take you out of the matrix entirely. And I believe it's the quickest way. I don't know a better path. Otherwise, I would be teaching it, obviously.
Yeah.
But even if there are, of course, there are other ways, and there are other ways that will work. He does say that. It doesn't matter because you've got a way that's going to work. And you could argue, well, which is the quicker way? But from your own experience of this, that it's very effective. This is a very effective direct path. It really gets to the core of the ego, which is why there's a lot of people feeling challenged
and resistance.
The ego is being seriously challenged. By which means that it's doing its work. It's very effective. Yeah, because you can beat around the bush, and there's paths and teachings that really don't get to the core of your ego. You can still maintain that ego within that belief system, and it just kind of morphs. It kind of shape shifts to fit that fit that belief system. And,
but it doesn't go to the core. The core.
It doesn't go to the core of the separate self.
The separate self.
That self-concept that actually is a denial of love, and that's what he's trying to get us to see. You cannot deny, you cannot have a separate self and be one self. It's not possible. They are irreconcilable. Yeah. So you can't fudge this. You have to be very clear that you're making a choice between them. And there's only one choice ultimately that makes any sense. So that's your path then. Okay, I'm choosing only the one self and I'm denying everything else. And that requires a lot of focus. Yeah. The world designed to distract you. And there's going to be people going, well, what are you doing? That's crazy. You can't spend so much time on this and it's ruining your life. And on and on, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. Yada, yada, yada. On they go. But are they speaking then? Are they speaking from the true self? You've got to ask yourself. No. Speaking from the ego self. So then okay, well, this is the distraction. This is the temptation. If I listen to these kinds of people, to this kind of advice, then the ego is distracting me via this external world, by other people. But I'm also aware of what information they actually choose to watch as well, and the information they choose to integrate or to process, because we can all choose the information we want to process and integrate for our own well-being or for our own spiritual path or on path. It's a choice. So if you're aware of what other people are doing and how they judge you on that basis, then they judge based on their own choices. Yeah, they base it on their own choices. So then I know I'm choosing the path of. So if you're going against the ego, then you're heading in the right direction. Yeah, exactly. Which means people who are in ego are not going to like it. But that's for sure. They're not going to like it. Sure. But you can't people please the ego and expect to awaken. No, I've been doing enough of that people pleasing, so now I'm. Well, yeah, enough of that. So, that means some relationships don't go so well, but so be it. You can't please everyone. But then you start to connect with and want to spend time with people who are on the same path. You're on a path of awakening that's supporting you, and they're saying, "Okay, I'm in your corner. I'm helping you." Not, I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to stop you and block you and distract you
Yeah,
from path.
yeah, when you are being influenced by, you know, other separate selves, I would say, you get to that weary state, or that you can feel tired. You know, it's kind of tiring if you are not devoting yourself to that truth. Or yeah, I could see how I really worn myself out, actually, listening to the wrong separate self.
Advice. Yeah. And you think of what people do. I mean, these journeys don't necessarily have to be anything more than like watching the news or something. That's a journey. That's a mind trip that you take every time, you know, you turn on the TV and you watch for half an hour. I mean, you're choosing then to distract yourself and to depart from the spirit, because you're exposing yourself to the you know, all of the projections of the ego, the separate self. You could do it from a forgiving place and say, well, I'm just going to use this as mind training, and I'm just going to forgive everything as it shows up. That would be an interesting mind training exercise. But most people watching the news, they're not doing that, are they? Oh, this is terrible, this happened. And so what they're doing is they're wearying themselves, they're dispiriting themselves. Completely. Oh, so terrible. You know, everything's kind of going pear-shaped, and with COVID, you know, you clearly saw that, and now it's like, well, the economy is depressed, and you know, energy prices are going up, and there's a war in Russia.
Yeah, and they keep repeating that constantly in their mind and projecting that out into your reality, and it's the constant, the constant.
And they're dispiriting themselves. This is moving away from their true awareness, pure formless awareness, into form.
I actually managed to share that video about unconditional love, you know, about the dad who forgave his son. So I managed to show it to her to see, you know.
Okay.
So I mean, I didn't have no reaction really, but at least I managed to show unconditional love, you know, just to at least show what it looks like, what it could, what it looks like, and what can happen, you know, what is possible out of that unconditional love. The forgiveness that she's really resisting to you. But I'm not here to change anyone.
No, it's very important to realize, you know, you're not trying to fix anyone.
Or fix anyone.
Unconditional love simply acknowledges the perfection that's already there in the person. And namaste, I see you as you are.
Yeah.
And from that state, if there's a genuine acceptance and love, people feel that. You know, the worst thing is you can do is say, oh, you're so unawakened, you're so asleep, you know, and then they feel judged and they feel criticized, and they'll respond accordingly.
I can improve on that as well. I know I can see myself sometimes being judgmental, so I can definitely improve on that.
It's to lay aside, you know, whatever you see, you know, the unawakened behavior, you know, the resistance, is to overlook that. This is what the mind training is. Don't believe in that, because it's false. So that whole character of the person, the persona, the personal self, all the behavior that you're seeing, which seems to dominate that person. If they're an ego, then that's kind of the dominant self, is not true. The entire thing's an illusion. So it's a construct of their mind, which you don't have to believe in. You can overlook that and still honor their true self. Now, you know, in practice, that it can get quite tricky. It's challenging. Because the person could be trying to, you know, attack you or distract you or whatever. But our job then is to stay in that unconditionally loving awareness, no matter what. And don't allow the thoughts and emotions of the ego to come in. You know, you get angry, you get upset, you get frustrated. These are all egoic emotions that will then cause you to behave, to speak and act in certain ways, which are not helpful for you or the other person. Okay, so happy with number 2. I think we kind of got that one summarized and down quite nicely. So number 3, Sally, you like to read number 3 for us, kindly.
Yeah. The journey to the cross should be the last useless journey. Do not dwell upon it, but dismiss it as accomplished. If you can accept it as your last useless journey, you're also free to join my resurrection. Until you do so, should I carry on at the top, or do you want me to do the bottom at the same time?
Yeah, I don't think there's much. Can you see anything that needs translation here? Journey to the cross. Should be the last useless journey. Do not dwell upon it, but dismiss it as accomplished. So he's referring to his own, journey to the cross, journey to. Yeah, I think we'll keep it because he's referring to his own journey, his resurrection. What do you think? Yeah. Journey to the cross.
It's fine, yeah.
Yeah. Cross is symbolic of the journey of self-sabotage, self-inflicted punishment. Do not dwell upon it, but dismiss it as accomplished. Accept it as your own last useless journey, also free to join my resurrection. So that's an interesting interpretation of crucifixion, isn't it? So he died when the Christians say he died to save our sins. It's a misinterpretation of what really happened, right? It's actually accepting that this is your own last useless journey. But he demonstrated that the crucifixion of yourself, the pain, the suffering, the death that you subjected yourself to is useless and can be transcended. And so you can learn from the crucifixion to apply that lesson in your own life. Free to join my resurrection. So that's the true meaning of the crucifixion. It's to forget the useless journeys of self-sabotage and pain and suffering you cause yourself, and join him in his resurrection into the pure formless awareness of perfect love, to acceptance of that, and that's alone. Okay, number 4, until you do so.
Until you do so, your life is indeed wasted. It merely reenacts the separation, the loss of power, the futile attempts of the ego at reparation, and finally the crucifixion of the body or death. Such repetitions are endless until they are voluntarily given up. Do not make the pathetic error of clinging to the old rugged cross. The only message of the crucifixion is that you can overcome the cross. Until then, you're free to crucify yourself as often as you choose. This is not the gospel I intended to offer you. We have another journey to undertake. And if you will read these lessons carefully, they will help you prepare to undertake it. Oh, I love it. It's good wording, isn't it?
Yeah, very on point, I'd say. So he's telling us exactly what human life involves. So until you do this and you choose to join him in his resurrection into eternal life and accept this message, your life is indeed wasted. It merely reenacts the separation, the loss of power, futile attempts of the ego at reparation, so magic, any kind of magic to try and fix your life, make you feel better, bring you pleasure, avoid pain. Well, those are the futile attempts he's talking about. At reparation, and finally, crucifixion of the body or death. So we crucify ourselves. And so the crucifixion is such an important teaching device because it symbolizes the whole journey of the human journey, isn't it? Of ultimately dying, suffering and dying by our own hand, saying, well, you crucify yourself. But the resurrection showed that there's another, there's another alternative. You don't have to do that. You can awaken from this. Such repetitions are endless until they are voluntarily given up. So what he's saying is you will keep doing this. Many lifetimes, over and over and over again. You'll do this. And this would be, he's talking about reincarnation here. Just implied. It isn't stated. But such repetitions are endless until they are voluntarily given up. So you can't awaken unless you give them up. Say, I don't want to do this anymore. Which would seem to be self-evident, but it comes down to your choice.
The bit about hanging onto the old cross is good.
Mm.
I'll remember that. Holding on to the pain cross. Mm.
Clinging to the pathetic error of clinging to the old rugged cross. Do we want to translate cross there? As
I think symbolically in my mind that works really well.
Yeah, he's using the cross as the symbol of pain and suffering and death. The only message of the crucifixion is that you can overcome the cross. So we leave it just in symbolic form.
I think so.
So then you're free to crucify yourself as often as you choose. Maybe in our summarised, we can put something about if we overcome can overcome the pain, the suffering. So this would be called, Eckhart Tolle would call the cross your pain body. This is your accumulated pain and suffering. And the resurrection says you can overcome that. You can let that all go. So then you're free to crucify yourself as often as you choose. This is your free will, isn't it? You can crucify yourself if you choose to, because you have apparently free will. But is that will that would choose to crucify yourself, is that really free? Or is that enslaved? Is that insane, enslaved will? No, I really want to crucify myself again. Brings to mind, did you ever see Life of Brian? That last scene where Brian's on the cross and the Suicide Squad comes to save him. And they commit suicide. So we're here to save you. They commit suicide. So that sort of reminds me of that, really. Sort of it's a skit, really. That was just looking at the ego. Isn't that just ridiculous? This is not the message I intend to offer you. You have another journey to undertake. If you'll read these lessons carefully, they will prepare you. I'll prepare you to undertake it. So these lessons are, each section of the text is a lesson. It's not talking about the workbook. It's actually talking about the text here. There's lessons in the text. Okay, so let's summarizing of that. Journey to the crush,
My last
useless journey.
I do not dwell upon it. I dismiss it as accomplished. If I can accept it as my own last useless journey, I am also free to join my resurrection.
To join. Yeshua's resurrection.
Till I do so, my life is indeed wasted.
I think personalizing them is powerful stuff.
It's
My
very
life is wasted.
powerful. Mhm.
And then it's just telling you exactly what it does. It merely reenacts.
It's the separation, the loss of power, the futile attempts of the ego at reparation, or the belief in separate. No,
My separate self. It probably needs to be changed up here as well. Shall we make it the belief in separation? Or my separate self? Belief in separation kind of gets to the core of what it is, doesn't it?
Mm.
So within the belief in separation, I'm trying to repair it. But I can't solve the problem within the thought system of separation. The significant problems we face can't be solved at the same level of thinking we had when we created them, self-evidently. But we try at some kind of reparation. Finally, all of those attempts end up in one thing: the death. We die. Now, this might be depressing to the ego when you look at it, with such stark honesty. The ego is going to feel depressed and threatened, but actually your spirit, this is quite liberating. I find it quite amusing, actually. It's just like ridiculous. This whole journey of human life we take so seriously. And he's just telling us exactly what it is.
Finally, of my body or death and death. Such repetitions are endless until I voluntarily give them up.
Give them up or let go of them, you think?
Yeah, let go. I do not make the pathetic error of clinging to the old rugged cross. Well,
clinging to my pain. How about clinging to my...
Yeah, very symbolic. Mm. My old name was Pain.
Pathetic error of clinging to my... How about to my story of pain and suffering?
And suffering, yes.
Yeah. Inner suffering.
I was like, say the word suffering.
Suffering, yeah.
We love our suffering, don't we? We love to suffer.
We do, yeah. It's crazy, but it defines us. So it's my story. The cross is my story of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
That I've been telling myself and the world. And this is my own crucifixion, crucifying myself and avoiding the truth of who I am. The only message of crucifixion is that I can overcome this story. So that I'm free to crucify myself as often as I choose.
A nice offer, isn't it? But no thanks.
It's so funny.
It's funny. You got to laugh. It's just...
We got to laugh at this one.
You got to laugh.
This is
it's
so
crazy,
powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
This is not the message I intended to offer you. Okay, so we can probably cut that out. I have another journey to undertake. If I read about, if I study this course carefully, I am it's very direct. I have another journey to undertake. If I study this course carefully, I am undertaking it. So my journey is the study of this course. Okay, happy with that?
Yep.
Oh, he says I'm preparing to undertake it. You want to say I'm preparing to, or just I'm undertaking it?
Sure, it's got to be in the present tense of doing it now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why it's cut it out. Undertaking it. It's very direct.
Yeah,
So
I like that. Like I'm undertaking it actually.
I'm on the journey by doing this.
I'm on
by
the
studying.
journey and I'm doing it. Yeah.
Not like I'm preparing. It's this is the process. I am actually on the journey. I'm undertaking it every time I sit in a session. This is the journey. So I'm going to read it from the top, Sammy.
The journey to the cross should be my last useless journey. I do not dwell upon it, but dismiss it as accomplished. If I can accept it as my own last useless journey, I am also free to join Yeshua's resurrection. Also, I do so, my life is indeed wasted. Until I do so, my life is indeed wasted. It merely reenacts the separation, the loss of power, the futile attempts of my belief in separation, of reparation, and finally the crucifixion of my body, which is death. Such repetitions are endless until I voluntarily let go of them. I do not make the pathetic error of clinging to my story of pain and suffering. The only message of the crucifixion is that I can overcome this story. Until then, I am free to crucify myself as often as I choose. I have another journey to undertake, and if I study this course carefully, I am undertaking it. My pathetic error.
Yeah, a pathetic error. Not very complimentary to the ego, is it? Maybe we could say such repetitions are endless. I will reincarnate endlessly until I voluntarily let go of them.
Blimey.
Till I voluntarily let go of my futile attempts and my belief in separation.
Or is it just let go? I voluntarily let go. I will reincarnate endlessly until I voluntarily.
Of my crap.
My errors. Until I voluntarily let go of my errors.
My luggage. My luggages.
Baggage. Yeah.
Luggage. Luggage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the powerful. I will reincarnate endlessly until I voluntarily let go of my errors. It's not
that's a
happen
good.
unless I do that. So I choose not.
Make the pathetic error. I think that's so funny. Of clinging to my story of pain and suffering.
That's so good. It's so powerful, this, eh?
Yeah.
So good.
You say this in the first person. It's like, okay, I choose not. It becomes really personal. Not to make this pathetic error, which honestly I probably made for a lot of my life. I've clinged to this story of pain and suffering. And he's telling us what the consequences of this are.
And not just that it's an error, it's pathetic.
It is.
Yeah.
Very pathetic.
the victim identity is really pathetic.
It is.
You denied your true power, and you've believed in an illusory story of yourself, and you cling to this no matter what. I mean, it's when you have pure formless awareness of perfect love and eternal life being offered to you. Maybe we could say into resurrection, into eternal life, because that's what he's offering us. Rather than this crazy journey of continuous, life, seeming life. We're born, we have some kind of existence here in the body, but it's so temporary, it's so fleeting, and then we're doomed to die. And that time period is actually so short, 80, 90 years, sort of average lifespan. Probably it's less actually an average, but it's not very long in the grand scheme of things. That's over so quickly, from birth to death. You think of the human life, and then it's gone. And then the whole, what I valued so much, my separate self and its life and its world is over. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And we think this is life.
Eternal, what, you don't uppercase the E at eternal life?
No, we generally don't do, because it's an adjective. The
Oh,
life is
okay. I thought I saw the uppercase E before in the book, but maybe no, maybe not.
I think if it's used as the eternal.
Oh yeah,
into
maybe.
into the eternal.
Yeah.
Then when I took out life, but
Okay.
generally as a we use like true awareness or pure formless awareness, because that whole phrase is then what we're referring to.
Yeah.
So it depends on whether it becomes part of the noun or not. But we're splitting hairs. So I think it's fine as it is. Okay, so what's he saying there in summary?
The last journey of self-sabotage, and to let go of the story of pain and suffering.
So I think what we'll do from now is say it in the first person when you summarize it. That's a really good way to do it.
So this is my last journey of self-sabotage. I'm letting go of my pain and suffering so I can transcend now into pure formless awareness, perfect love.
I never have to do this again. This is what he's saying. You don't have to come back and have another life and do the whole journey again. This course is designed to free you from the need to do that. Okay, so that's this section done. It's just so what we can do now. I still want to do another 5 paragraphs, but maybe we could do a little meditation on this. Now, if you need to pop off, Sally, and then you'd like to go to bed and do the meditation, and then that's a nice closure on this, because it's actually a powerful section. It's an introduction, but it's got a great message. Oh. So I'll guide you through a meditation, and then we can carry on with just 5 more paragraphs. What we could do. How does that sound?
Okay with me.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting in your favorite meditation posture. If you're sitting on a chair, back straight, cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and subtle flow there in through the nostrils. You clench your sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to track the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. You lock the energy in. And you draw the energy up the spine into your heart center. And put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. And draw it up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. So smile. Just noticing what's going on, particularly if it feels negative or limiting, contracted, constricting in any way. Remind yourself of today's lesson. And I perceive no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. And then exhale and just let that go, whatever was bothering you, as you're just blowing the energy away with the breeze of your breath. To the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. Just rest here in peace and stillness. A pure formless awareness arise in your mind, breathing in and out through your nose. Just observe subtle sensations of the breath flowing into your nostrils and out of your nostrils. Stomach rises and falls. Observe the subtle breath to create some awareness. It's about opening your mind to this subtle awareness. Awareness of space, spacious awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And just allow these words that I read you to drop into that empty, spacious awareness. Pebbles in a pond on a still, calm, windless day. Just be still and allow that in. So you are reprogramming your mind, allowing a new operating system to come in. So keep watching your breath, emptying your vessel, and feel into these words as they come in. Each word, each phrase, sentence has a frequency, it's an energy transmission that's happening. So be sensitive to the energy of the words. Allow them to come in, absorb them at a deeper level of your mind. So say these in the first person as I say them to yourself. to make it into an affirmation. The Bible says that I should go with a companion twice as far as he asks. When I unconditionally love someone, it can lead only to mutual progress. The result of unconditional love is inspiration, which is the opposite of weariness. When I am weary, I am dispirited. When I am inspired, I am motivated by pure formless awareness. To be motivated by my separate self is to be dispirited. When I am self-centered in the right sense, capital self-centered, I'm inspired by pure formless awareness. When I'm truly inspired, I've awakened from limited awareness. So let these words just sink in, asking us to give ourselves to the self, capital self, the true self. That is our essence. This is our core, our essence identity, the Christ self in us. It knows its source. And also knows how to reinterpret the world. So that I'm inspired, Spirit comes in and through me, I become done through by the Spirit. It's been asked yesterday, well, what's going to happen if I do this? What next? Well, Yeshua's giving us the answer here. You become inspired. This awareness is in the foundation of your mind, of your life. All your thoughts and your words and your actions come from this higher awareness. When you're in this higher awareness, life can be happy, peaceful, flowing. Miracles are about flow, peace, love, joy, happiness. And I'm truly inspired. I've awakened from limited awareness. The awareness of fear and pain and suffering and sickness and death, guilt and sin, fear and attack, and all of the forms of the ego. It's all limited awareness. So I can speak from pure formless awareness, all from my separate self. Which is my belief in separation. I speak from pure formless awareness. I've chosen to be still and know that I am pure formless awareness of perfect love. I speak from my separate self. I'm denying knowledge and dispersing myself. Should be aware of being distracted on my path of awakening, because that's what sabotages my progress. spiritual progress. My belief in separation may desire these distractions, but my true awareness cannot allow them, because it is eternally unwilling to depart from its source. So I am eternally, say to yourself, I am eternally unwilling to depart from my source. I hold to my source. I am. Breathe in and say, I'm not going to put one hand on your chest as you do this. Say, I am. Pure formless awareness. Perfect love. Exhale on the truth of that. Sense of extending that outwards to the world, to everyone and everything. When you breathe in again, breathe this powerful energy of perfect love and say, I am perfect love. Feel what that feels like. To claim it, to be in the energy of perfect love. And then exhale. Feel out and feel this power coming through you. I am that I am. I am perfect love. I am love. Breathe it in one more time. Feel that in your heart. Feel that in your mind. Feel that all-encompassing presence. This is you, the true you, beyond the false self. Beyond any idea that you're a separate self and belief in separation. I am perfect love, or if you prefer, I am love. And that's alone. So I cannot depart from this presence, this awareness. This is my true awareness. And this awareness will direct my thoughts, my words, my actions. Always and always. So I cannot depart from it. I remain then forever afterwards on this path of awakening. I will not allow myself to be distracted from it. I will follow Yeshua's guidance and I will awaken from this useless journey. Says the journey to the cross should be my last useless journey. Yeshua's journey. He did it for all of us. Say to yourself, I do not dwell upon it, but dismiss it as accomplished. I can accept it as my own last useless journey. I'm also free. Free to join Yeshua's resurrection into eternal life. He was the way show. He showed us what's possible. We can transcend pain, suffering, and death. Until I do so, however, my life is indeed wasted. Merely reenacts the separation from my source, the loss of power, futile attempts of my belief in separation and preparation, and finally the crucifixion of my body, which is death. I will reincarnate endlessly until I voluntarily let go of my errors. So I choose not to make the pathetic error, clinging to my story of pain and suffering. The only message of the message of the crucifixion is that I can overcome this story. Until then, I'm free to crucify myself as often as I choose. So I have another journey to undertake. I study this course carefully. I am undertaking it right now. As we sit and we read and discuss, translate and summarize and meditate on these powerful words. So I'm undertaking that journey back home, back to my source. The only journey that is of any meaning, any real purpose in this world. And I am on it. So know that. So I have another journey to undertake, and I'm on that journey, my hero's journey. Just rest in that certainty, that knowledge that you're on the right track. You've been guided every step of the way in your life to get here now, to be here now. And just sit in this awareness for a few moments. And pure formless awareness of perfect love. Say, I am pure formless awareness, perfect love. Breathe that in and invite this awareness to come in. Invite it in to be your awareness and only your awareness. No other awareness is possible. The next couple of minutes of deep, peaceful silence. So just gently coming back, this deep state of awareness into awareness of the body and the breath, senses, in the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile, just scan your mind again. Notice any thoughts, any emotions, any related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels negative. Limiting, contracted, constricting in any way, and just find yourself today's lesson. I perceive no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. So my perception of the situation is not neutral because I have no neutral thoughts. I can let all that go. When I exhale, blow it away. And you can restore your mind to true awareness, pure formless awareness, perfect love. Just blowing it all away. The breeze of your breath. So nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest in stillness. For a few moments. So notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair. Count of 2. What you're feeling and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose. Notice all these things from the state of awareness. Just an awareness shining through all of your sense perceptions. It's underlying all your sense perceptions. So stay rooted in this awareness. Even while you in sense perceptions, perceiving. This is the art of being in the world, but not of the world at all. The art of letting go. Still functioning, and function in an illusory world, but letting go of your belief in it, your attachment to it. So you can be free, peaceful, happy, joyful, despite the illusions of the ego that seem to populate this world. So it is, so it is said, so it is done. Now on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around and practice today's lesson. So as you look around the world, just observe what is going on and apply today's lesson. So I perceive no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Tell yourself that. And as you look about you, whatever your eyes happen to rest on, just say, I do not see a neutral, and name the object, because my thoughts about the object are not neutral. So for instance, I do not see a neutral wall because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. Do not see a neutral, do not perceive a neutral body because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral. Do that for half a dozen things, very casually, no attempt to force it. Just allowing this truth to drop in about how your mind really works. You don't really see anything neutral because your thoughts are not neutral. Your thoughts direct your perception. Thoughts are the primary agent of perception. It's the thought system that interprets the sensory data that's primarily responsible for your perceptions. So don't make any distinction between what you believe to be animate or inanimate, so living or not, pleasant or unpleasant. Regardless of what you may believe, you do not really perceive anything that's really alive or really joyous. It's because you're unaware as yet of any thought that's really true and therefore really happy. So that brings us to the end of the meditation.
Namaste.
Namaste. So shall we continue on with a bit more reading and translation? So tomorrow is a monster. It's 13 paragraphs. So I think we can get a few of those done tonight. Are you up for that?
Not really, no.
No, really. John?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, or if you don't want to stay, we'll carry on. We'll do another, maybe not 5, maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs, and we'll see if we can
Okay.
break the back of this, because 13 is going to be a monster. So then it brings it down to 10.
Come on, Aurelie, you can do it.
I know I
You
can do it. I know I
You can
can.
do it.
I know
You
I
can
can.
Stay on the path.
I
Don't
know
get
I
distracted.
can do it. Yeah.
All right. So
I just like how I feel like really, like, I don't know, with the meditation, I just kind of like to stay in that zone, because this is like waking you back up. But I was kind of like,
yeah,
again, like,
yeah,
the
the zone.
different flow.
Yeah, well, just see if you can carry that with you. That's really the idea. Carry it. Stay in that awareness, even while we reading and discussing and translating and there's some kind of analytical stuff going on with the mind, isn't there? But let that awareness direct it. Okay, so a good teacher clarifies his own ideas and strengthens them. John, do you want to read that?
Yeah, a good teacher clarifies his own ideas and strengthens them by teaching them.
By the way, this is called right teaching and right learning. I didn't mention it. Right teaching and right learning. It's the subject. So it's all about teaching and learning.
So, alternatively, a good teacher clarifies his own ideas and strengthens them by teaching them.
Yeah, I think that can stand as it is.
That's okay. Teacher and pupil are alike in the learning process. Yeah.
Yeah, I think are the same, maybe. Are the same in the learning process. I mean, he says they are the same.
Are they really the same, or are they?
They are alike.
Oh, yeah.
The same order of learning. Are really the same in the learning process.
Yeah.
In the same order of learning.
Yeah. They are in the same order.
We could keep alike if you. I mean, does alike cut it?
No, I'm happy with really the same. Or alike. Actually, I'm happy with both.
Okay, Aurelie, you happy with really the same?
Both either or, they're good. They're good.
And they're in the same order of learning.
They are in the same order of learning. And unless they share their lessons, conviction will be lacking. Same order of learning means joined on a parallel
the same.
path.
The order of learning is this domain of time and space. Oh, there's Christine joining us. That's nice. I think her load shedding has probably just ended. They're learning their lessons in this. Maybe we want to translate that the same domain, maybe. The same domain of learning. So we're learning lessons in this school, really. The world is life is a school. The world is a school.
Yeah.
Domain is a
domain.
good word, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that kind of works. Domain is you're in time and space, and what he's trying to say is the teacher and the pupil are both learning their lessons.
Yeah.
So unless they share their lessons, conviction will be lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That makes sense.
Good teacher must then believe in the ideas he teaches.
But he must meet another condition. He must believe in the students to whom he offers the ideas. He must believe in the students to whom he offers the ideas. It's an important statement for all teachers.
Yeah, I mean, it's stating the obvious, but I think we've all seen teachers who don't necessarily believe in the ideas. They don't live by the ideas. They might teach them, but to live by the ideas is another matter.
Yeah. That's true.
They must believe in the ideas he teaches, and obviously if someone doesn't, then that's hypocrisy. It's like, well, you've taught me something, but actually you don't believe in it. There's many instances of gurus who've taught various things, and then actually their own example doesn't live up to the teaching.
They don't practice what they preach.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a hypocrisy there.
They don't walk the talk, or don't walk the talk.
Which then diminishes the power of the teaching, doesn't it?
Yeah.
People then question, they go, oh well, the guru's like this, and he's taught me this, so then maybe it's okay to do the same. It's an example.
Yeah.
The two great teachers, the spiritual masters, they did walk the talk. Yeshua walked it, so did the Buddha, without wavering. They didn't. Once they'd attained that high state, they didn't come down. And he must believe in the students to whom he offers the ideas. I think that's an important point. So he must believe in the potential of the students to accept the ideas, to learn the ideas, and to awaken to their true self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not feel threatened by it. The true teacher doesn't feel threatened by someone becoming as they are. The true teacher would say, well, yes, you must become as I am. You must attain to the same state of awareness and knowledge as I have, because we are the same. You won't stay a student forever. You will attain mastery. And then we are as one. I'm no longer your teacher, because you've attained the same state as me. I think that's what it means by you must believe in the students to whom he offers the ideas. Believe in their true worth, who they really are. Okay, so let's just A little summary. A good teacher clarifies his own ideas. So how about if I am to be a good teacher?
Yeah, it's good.
I clarify my own ideas and strengthen by teaching.
Yeah.
Teacher and pupil. So how about my students?
Yeah.
Yeah, students is good.
Teacher and student, because it's more. Pupil sounds more like a school classroom. Teacher and student are really the same in the learning. So my students are really learning the same lessons. I like that.
Yeah.
Cut that out. I must believe in the ideas I teach. And in the students, and then we about the ability of the students to whom I teach these ideas. To accept them. I think that's, essential.
Do you need those last 4 or 5 words?
Ability of the students to whom I teach these ideas. Well, in the ability to do what? Ability of the students to whom I teach these ideas.
Or
Ability to accept.
Just in the ability of the students to whom I teach.
Yeah. To whom I teach. Ability to do what? Then we're leaving that to open to interpretation. I think to accept them, really. I must believe that my students can and will learn these things. And so then my faith in them encourages it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because often students will, well, it's too hard or it's too difficult. I can't really get this. And the true teacher says, no, you can get this. It's okay. You can just persevere. You can learn this. And then encourages the student to carry on.
Interesting concept for the teacher who recognizes that the student is going to be better than them. I mean, a maths teacher.
Equal to them.
Yeah, but for example, a maths teacher might recognize that one of his students is going to go far beyond
further.
He's done.
Yeah. Which a good teacher would be like, well, that's great. I'm very happy about that. I remember when I did breath work, it was that sort of situation. The guy taught me, a guy called Barry Spitz, and he'd done it to a point, but he hadn't gone into like holding your breath for more than sort of 2-3 minutes. In fact, he advised me not to.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually, I'm just going to ignore that because I think actually that I can go beyond it. I want to see what happens.
Mm.
And to his credit, he did kind of accept that. He did say, you've gone far beyond me in this. And, I can't really teach you anything more.
Yeah.
We just practice together.
Mm.
So a good teacher would welcome it. Say, oh, well, that's great. If you've taken this further than me, then I've really done my job. And that's what a good teacher should do, is empower the student to take it wherever they want to take it. I mean, that was specifically about a technique. These are about ideas he's talking. But ultimately, the true guru wants to replace himself. He wants to bring his students up to the level of himself, so that when he goes, then the lineage continues and the teaching continues. And that's how it goes, from guru to student, and then the student becomes the master and teaches for many years, and then teaches other students who become the masters, and so on. That's the Indian tradition. Okay, so are we happy with that one? Let's just put that at the end here. Personalised Executive Summary. I'm going to read that, John. If I'm to be a good teacher.
If I am to be a good teacher, I clarify my own ideas and strengthen them by teaching them. My students and I are really learning the same lessons. I must believe in the ideas I teach and in the ability of the students to whom I teach these ideas to accept them. I still don't think you need that to accept them, John.
How about that? The ability of my students must believe in the ideas I teach and in the ability of my students to accept them.
Yeah, it's good.
Much. So my belief in my students will help them to learn the lessons. That's encouragement. So, yeah, you can learn this.
Yeah.
And then they like persevere and say, okay, well, my teacher believes in me. The worst kind of teacher is a teacher who doesn't believe in the students. It says, oh, well, I don't think you can do it. I don't actually have faith in you. I mean, how encouraging is that?
They don't actually say that, they just think it. Yeah.
Well, sometimes they do. In formal education, there's been many instances of teachers saying, well, you're stupid, you can't get this. And they actually verbalize it.
Yeah.
And
there have been cases of students then thinking, well, bugger you, I will. And excelling.
Yeah. And excelling, and saying, no, well, actually, I don't believe that. Sort of reverse psychology. But it can be hugely damaging. Teachers saying, well, I don't believe in you.
Yeah.
Whereas a teacher who does believe, those are the teachers that are transformative for people. I mentioned the story of Tony Robbins. He had a teacher who called him and said, I see the potential in you to be a great speaker. You're a great communicator. You need to enter this competition. He said, I wouldn't have done that if he hadn't said, I believe in you. I see something in you that he hadn't seen in himself. So it was the faith and the belief primarily that then galvanized him into, well, a whole career of speaking. Extraordinary, community, his whole career.
Doesn't shut him up after that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look back here. A good teacher. All right, so happy with number one. Number two, let's ask Christine. Christine, how are you? Welcome. Your load setting obviously ended, so we're doing this is section one because it's a long one, 13 paragraphs. So we're gonna do 3 or 4 paragraphs of this tonight. So tomorrow is a bit shorter.
So did you finish the last long one?
Yes.
Yeah. So we finished the introduction, which is 3 paragraphs. So this one's 13. So we're going to try and do 8 tonight. So another 4 paragraphs, and we'll call it quits.
I must be confused because when I left you this afternoon, you had a lot of paragraphs ahead of you.
Oh no, we didn't do the text this afternoon.
Oh, didn't you?
No, we don't do the text. We just do the lesson. So I think I was talking, I was referring to it because of Lynn's experience. So I showed some of what we did, but we didn't cover it. We've done that previous night. So yeah, evening is text, and afternoon we do the lesson and sharing.
See, I still
That's the
haven't
structure.
got- I've only realized that now.
Okay.
Very
It's all right.
disorganized.
Uh,
Okay, many stand guard over their ideas because they want to protect their thought systems as they are, and learning means change. Yeah,
Okay. Does that need any translation? They want to protect their thought systems. They are learning needs change. No, I don't think that needs any translation. So just read the next few are not particularly needing translation. So read from number 2 through to number 5.
change
Just in
is
the
always
alternative.
fearful to the separated because they cannot conceive of it as a move towards healing the separation. That's very true. I think we've all experienced that. Change is always fearful to the separated because they cannot conceive of it as a move towards healing the separation.
Oh. We feel change is threatening, fearful.
Hmm.
And then he goes on.
They always perceive it as a move towards further separation because the separation was their first experience of change. And you believe
Which
that
makes sense, yeah? So the separation was this horrific change in the mind that hurled us out of pure formless awareness, of perfect love, perfect bliss, and now all kinds of horrors unfolded. And so we don't have a good experience of our first change. So it was not a good experience. So then we have this aversion to change, but now we must change. If we're rooted in the ego, we've gone down this whole thought system of separation. We've got stuck in it. The only way out of it is to change. Look at this. So you're now caught up in this. You believe you're a victim, living a helpless, enervated little life in a cruel world. You must change that in order to awaken, in order to escape from it. You cannot carry on in the same belief system. Just expect that you're going to free yourself. That's what he's saying here. Okay, so number 4, you believe that
you believe that if you allow no change to enter into your ego, you will find peace.
into your separate self, you will find peace.
This profound confusion is possible only if you maintain that the same thought system can stand on 2 foundations.
Mm-hmm. Same thought system can stand on 2 foundations, right? So you can keep the separate self, and you can find peace, and that somehow that you can reconcile these. Same thought system. So the ego's thought system, the same thought system, can now stand on 2 foundations. You can have the separate self, which is all about fear and guilt and anger and attack. That's the one foundation. But that same thought system can also stand on the foundation of truth that will bring peace. It doesn't make any sense, does it? It can't. So it's not possible.
Nothing,
Okay, so then just read it here in the original because there's a bit of translation to do here.
nothing can reach spirit from the ego, and nothing can reach the ego from spirit. So separate self and pure formless awareness.
Nothing can reach pure formless awareness from the ego, from
Separate self.
reach. So we also, maybe we'll translate this as the belief in separation. Belief. Because that's really what the ego is, it's belief in separation. The belief in separation, nothing can reach the belief in separation from pure formless awareness. Makes sense, you know? When you phrase it like that. Pure formless awareness and the belief in separation contradict each other. You cannot be in pure formless awareness if you believe in separation. The one state, the one denies the other. Self-evidently when you translate it like this. If you have a belief in separation, then your mind will not be in a state of pure formless awareness. Your mind will be having other thoughts going, separated thoughts. Okay, so spirit can neither strengthen the ego.
Spirit can neither strengthen the ego nor reduce the conflict within. The ego is the contradiction.
Okay, so spirit, pure formless awareness can neither strengthen the ego, strengthen the belief in separation. Separation. Nor reduce the conflict within it. Okay. So pure formless awareness is just a complete alternative. You can't use God, pure formless awareness, to somehow make this belief better and improve it. It has to be done away with entirely. Okay, so the ego is a contradiction. Belief in separation is a contradiction, yeah, because it contradicts the truth. It says, I believe in that I'm separate from love. So it contradicts the truth.
Yourself and pure formless awareness, the perfect love self, are in opposition.
Make that a bit easier to say. Perfect love self. God's self was the original. Yourself and God's self are in opposition. Okay? So your I think it would be useful to say your separate self, your
No.
your separate self and perfect love self are in opposition. Well, they are opposed in source.
Source, in direction, and in outcome.
Source, direction, and outcome. Make that a bit shorter. So where they come from, the source, the direction that they take, and the outcome they lead to.
They are fundamentally irreconcilable because pure formless awareness cannot perceive and the ego cannot know.
Formless awareness cannot perceive and so he's talking about the difference between perception and knowledge here. Pure formless awareness is beyond perception. There's no separation. There's nothing else to be perceived, is there? In that awareness, it just is. And your separate self cannot know because separate self can only perceive based on the idea of separation. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're therefore
not in communication, can never be in communication.
So this is the non-dual nature of this teaching. It's saying you can't bring truth into the ego and somehow make it okay, which many teachings try to do. You'll bring a little bit of God or spirit into it and say, well, it's okay because the ego is sort of subservient to the spirit. You've got to manage your ego, not let go of it. We've heard those teachings, haven't we? This is not saying that. Nevertheless, the ego can learn, so
Separate self, even though its maker can be misguided.
maker can be misguided. Okay.
You cannot, however, make totally lifeless out of the life given.
No. So even within the ego's thought system, there's still a glimmer of the true awareness. And without that true awareness as the foundation, we couldn't have a thought of a separate self. You see that? So our true awareness remains, even if we believe the false self. True awareness is still there, underlying it. So we cannot make the totally lifeless out of the life given. There's still the potential for learning, and ultimately the ego can learn that it's not true. And then you'd say, well, who's really learning that? Is that your true mind, your true awareness that's learning that lesson? That the ego is not true. So it's kind of a transformation process that's happening in your mind. You start learning with the ego, and then at a point, this is quite shocking for a lot of people. They go, "Oh my God, this isn't true," and then the ego, kicks in with huge resistance. Actually, the entire self, my self-concept, isn't true. And then that awareness takes you into the spirit. Which is your true awareness. That's beyond the idea of separation. So I interpret these lines anyway. So any other thoughts on those last two sentences? Okay, so that's quite a long paragraph, this. Translated into personalized language. I have guarded my ideas because I want to protect my thought system as it is. And learning means change. This is a very nice one. So change is always fearful. Change is always fearful to a separate self, because it cannot conceive. Change is a move towards healing the separation, because obviously that's going to undo it. It always perceives it. So hang on, if I am identifying with my separate self, I will always perceive change as a move toward further separation. The separation was my first experience of change. And so this part of me separated self in me believes that if I allow no change to enter, into it, I will find peace. As profound confusion as possible, only if I maintain the same thought system can stand on two foundations. But nothing can reach a formless awareness from belief in separation. Is the foundation of my separate self, and nothing can reach the belief in separation from pure formless awareness. And strengthen my belief in separation or reduce the conflict within it. My belief in separation is a contradiction to the truth. My separate self and perfect love self, and my true loving self are in opposition, opposed in source, direction, and outcome. Fundamentally irreconcilable, as pure formless awareness cannot perceive, and my separate self cannot know. not in communication and can never be in communication. Nevertheless, my separate self can learn I cannot make the totally lifeless out of the life-giver. So there's still, underneath the separate self, is still the true awareness, which would then be the source of learning. And ultimately, that learning would undo my belief in the separate self. Okay. So you want to read that from the top, make sure we're okay with that. I've guarded my ideas.
I have guarded my ideas because I want to protect my thought system as it is, and learning means change. Change is always fearful to my separate self because it cannot conceive of change as a move towards healing the separation. If I am identifying with my separate self, I will always perceive change as a move towards further separation, because the separation was my first experience of change. The separated self in me believes that if I allow no change to enter into it, I will find peace. This profound confusion is possible only if I maintain that the same thought system can stand on two foundations. That nothing can reach pure formless awareness from the belief in separation. Nothing can reach.
Yeah, nothing can reach pure formless awareness. Nothing can communicate, maybe.
From the belief in separation. Yeah, that's better. That is the foundation of my separate self, and nothing can reach and communicate with the belief in separation from pure formless awareness.
When you say there's pure formless awareness, it's obvious. And that awareness doesn't know about separation. It's completely outside of that thought system. So they're just alternatives. You can't mix them.
Like oil and water.
Yeah, they don't mix.
Pure formless awareness can neither strengthen my belief in separation nor reduce the conflict within it. My belief in separation is a contradiction to the truth. My separate self and my true loving self are in opposition. They're opposed in source, direction, and outcome, and are fundamentally irreconcilable because pure formless awareness cannot perceive and my separate self cannot know. Therefore, they are not in communication and can never be in communication. Nevertheless, my separate self can learn because I cannot make the totally lifeless out of the life given.
Life given out of life that has been given to me.
Yeah, that's much better.
So even underlying the belief in separation, this life essence is still there. So that can cause the separate self to learn, and eventually the separate self will learn that it's not real. And then we identify with the spirit, the true self, replaces it. But that process can be quite shocking. Separate self, will go, oh my goodness, I'm not real. And then that awareness, I'm not real, would precipitate true awareness. So then what awareness is real? So what's aware that this self isn't real? And that's what happens in spiritual awakening. You realize that the whole separate self that you were trying to learn, you were trying to improve it, actually is just false. And then you're in another awareness, you're in your right mind, true awareness. Okay, so what is he saying here in summary? It's quite a long paragraph. The essence of that message is?
Oh boy, I can't do this sort of thing.
Well, change, yeah, the theme of change. But
makes one go into fear, and the separated self believes that if I allow no change to enter, I'll find peace. This is confusion brought about by the fact that the same thought system cannot stand on two foundations.
okay, so don't read it. Just kind of what does he say? First point is about change. Change is fearful to my separate self because I identify change as the move toward further separation. Separation was my first experience of change. So I feel threatened by change. The ego doesn't like change. That's the first point. And then the second major point is that these two thought systems cannot stand together. They are irreconcilable.
Awareness and the belief in separation.
They don't communicate. They're irreconcilable. So I must choose between them. The start of that choice is my separate self can learn. I start learning. Now, when I start learning, by definition, I'm not identified with my true self. That's buried. I start learning with the ego, and then eventually, that the ego learns that it's not true, and there's then a transformation into the true self. It takes its place and goes, well, actually, yeah. But you see, so what's aware then? What then becomes aware that the ego isn't true? There's another self that arises. And that's what happens in spiritual awakening. It's a sudden shift into that other self, like, oh my goodness, like I just see that false self is not true. I've been trying to learn in that false self. But eventually you get to the point where you go, well, I see beyond it. I'm no longer learning in that false self. I'm outside of that self, and that's that thought system. And I can see it for what it is, and I can see that it's not ultimately true. And there's only this one self, this higher awareness. That's all. And then you become identified with that. Okay, so learning is necessary to help us make that shift. Okay, happy with number 2. That was quite a big one. So number 3, fairly short, which is good. So whose turn is it? Orally, will you read number 3 for us, please? Spirit need not be taught.
Spirit need not be taught, but the ego must be. Learning is ultimately perceived as frightening because it leads to the relinquishment, not the destruction, of the ego to the light of spirit.
Let's translate.
Okay, so pure formless awareness need not be taught, but the separate self must be. Or we could leave the ego.
Yeah, we'll translate it, I think.
The separate self, no, because it's not the personalized one. The separate.
Yeah, okay. We'll personalize it in the ego. I suppose he uses the ego. So the separate self must be.
Learning is ultimately perceived as frightening because it leads to the relinquishment, not the destruction of the separate self to the light of pure formless awareness.
Light is, we actually translate light as pure formless awareness. So it's kind of a repetition. Separate self. Relinquishment leads to the relinquishment. So how about letting go? So letting go.
To the correction. Yeah.
Not the destruction of. Separate self to pure formless awareness.
This is to change the ego sphere because it does not share my charity. So this is the change.
So the separate self and the belief in separation make up the ego. Yeah, so we'll just name it. This is a change. Do you want to say separate self there? And separate self must fear. And it does not share my charity. Do you remember how we translated charity?
I'm trying to remember.
We translated it in terms of seeing the person as the best in the person.
Yeah, I think we translated as unconditional love.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
We have unconditional love again. And conditional. Does not share my unconditional love.
Oh, yeah.
That's charity. Seeing, the highest in the person, even when they're not necessarily there in their journey. But Yeshua is his unconditional love for us is what's inspiring us, isn't it? He's saying, okay, I see the truth in you. You are the same as me, you are the Christ. And I'm calling you to remember it. So in this course, this is his sharing of unconditional love. And extending that to anyone who's open to it. Okay, so my lesson was like yours.
My lesson was like yours, and because I earned it, I can teach it.
Because I learned it, I can teach it. Okay.
I will never attack your ego, but I'm trying to teach you how its source system arose. So I will never attack your separate self. But I am trying to teach you how its thought system arose.
Okay. Last one.
When I remind you of your true extension, your ego cannot but respond with fear. When I remind you of your true extension, your separate self cannot but respond with fear.
So we'll just change the
Or
double
can
negative.
only respond with fear.
Yeah. Reminds you of your true creation. Creation would be your true being, maybe. I think that's better. True being.
Oh, yeah.
Your separate self can only respond with fear. So that, you know, a couple of people, including you, have said, well, there's this fear sitting in my belly,
Yeah.
the existential anxiety
Mm.
of the ego that's responding with fear to this, you know, the truth being shown to it. Can only respond with fear because it's this true being is the undoing of the ego.
Mm. The ego is fearing its life.
Yeah, it's defending its existence, and it will feel. You know, yesterday in the translation we talked about, it fears the destruction of its thought system.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you near the end of it, and you're getting closer to your true being, the fear of death comes upon it. It fears the destruction of its thought system, as though it were death, because it's the end of the ego. And that can feel pretty intense.
Yeah.
Feel like you're dying.
It
But
does
actually, you
feel-
must die. You must die to the ego to be born to eternal life. That's teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
That death process isn't comfortable at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's.
I thought you were talking, I was laughing because I thought you were talking to my my ego's anxiety.
Yeah.
I thought you were telling it, you must die, you must go.
Yeah.
That's how we should talk to it. You must go now. It's
Yeah.
enough.
It's enough now, because you
Yeah.
don't even exist.
Yeah, no,
You
you're
don't really
not
exist.
even real. You're not even real.
Yeah, it's a false parasite in your mind that's hijacked it.
Yeah, total hijack.
Well, fortunately, not total, because the truth is still there, but it's can seem to be pretty strong.
Yeah.
The pure formless awareness need not be taught, but my separate self must be. Learning is ultimately perceived as frightening.
Oh yeah, we're personalizing. Okay.
Yeah.
Pure formless awareness need not be taught, but my separate self must be learning. No.
My separate self must be, taught.
Oh, must be taught. Okay.
It
There
must
was a dot, period.
My learning is ultimately perceived as frightening. So my true learning,
My true learning is ultimately perceived as frightening because it leads to the letting go, not the destruction of the separate self and belief in separate. So that's where the part I don't get really to that the way that sentence is formulated there at the end, and belief in separation to pure formless awareness. It leads to the belief in separation to pure. Is that what it's talking about? It leads to the letting go.
It leads to the letting go.
Not the destruction of the separate self. And belief in
Separate self and belief in separation. Restoration of.
Now, okay, now it makes more sense, yes, to me.
Mind to pure. My. Okay, so read that sentence. I perceive my true learning
I perceive my true learning as frightening because it leads to the letting go of my separate self and belief in separation and the restoration of my awareness to pure formless awareness.
letting go of my separate self and belief in separation. So letting go of my separate self. So let's just say my,
Or what about of my pure formless awareness? Because otherwise you repeat of my awareness to pure formless awareness, of my pure formless awareness, no? And the restoration of my pure formless awareness.
yeah, that's nice. The restoration of letting go of my separate self and belief in separation. Letting go of my belief in separation and the restoration
Of my pure formless awareness, yeah. Yeah, this is the change. No, this is the change. The separate self must fear. My separate self must fear this change.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. Yeah.
Or may fear this change.
No, it must fear.
Okay,
Separate
must
self
fear this change. Because it does not share my unconditional love. Oh, Yeshua's unconditional love. Yeah. My lesson, unconditional love for me. Okay. My lesson was like yours, and because I learned it, I can teach it.
So his lesson was like mine.
Mine. Okay. Because I learned it, I can teach it. I will never attack my separate self.
Very important point. You know, we listen to Yeshua because he's been there, he's done it.
Oh yeah, he
learned
learned
the
it.
lesson.
We can teach it.
He's done the
Yes.
hard yards, so we
Yeah.
can learn from it. He was human and he managed to overcome all the human condition and learn this lesson perfectly. So he becomes the way shower because he did it perfectly.
But shouldn't it be my lesson was like his? If we're personalizing it.
Well, his lesson was like mine because he learned that he can teach it. So it's the same
Okay.
lesson, not the mine in there.
Okay.
Because he learned that he can teach it.
But if I learn it, I can teach it as well. If I learn the lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will never attack my separate self.
Attack, sorry. So you're saying he will never attack my
He will
separate self.
never attack my separate self. But he's trying to teach me how its thought system arose. And when he reminds me of my true being, my true being, my separate self can only respond with fear.
And this is the existential anxiety that people have mentioned.
My true being, yeah? Of my true being, when you remind me of my true being.
Yeah.
My separate self can only respond with fear. Okay.
Okay. The pure formless awareness.
Pure formless awareness need not be taught, but my separate self must be. I perceive my true learning as ultimately frightening because it leads to the letting go of my belief in separation and the restoration of my pure formless awareness. There's a tree there to remove. My separate self must fear this change because it does not share Yeshua's unconditional love for me. His lesson was like mine, and because he learned it, he can teach it. He will never attack my separate self, but he's trying to teach me how its thought system arose. When he reminds me of my true being, my separate self can only respond with fear. Yeah.
Okay, so pretty clear. What's
Yeah.
he saying there? What's that saying in summary?
John, do you want to try? Give it a try.
No, it's your. Don't pass the buck.
I'm just playing the squash here.
But good try, Aurelia.
Well, I need to
just,
see. I need
there's
to
some
see
key
it. I need
points.
to see it.
I mean, what are the key points he's making here? But
Well,
I'm
it's
fearful
just
of
saying
learning.
that my separate self must learn or must be taught about unconditional love, basically, and letting go of the belief in separation to restore the pure formless awareness.
And the key point is that it must fear the change.
It must fear the change. Yes, it does.
That
fears
the
the
true
change.
learning will bring about.
It's
Because
having its existential crisis.
Because it's starting to learn. I mean, you've got an entity that doesn't really exist, and it's starting to learn that it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So
starting.
that feels very, very threatening to it. It's very challenging. So my entire thought system is not real. I don't even exist.
Yeah.
Well, obviously that's going to cause a bit of a crisis for the entity that thinks it exists, and now it's learning that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
And
then
also that he will never.
because it's going to cease to exist.
Yeah, that's why he's stressing out. He's giving big anxiety.
Yeah, because it's the end of, this is the road to the end of it. It's
To
the
freedom.
beginning of the end. Yeah.
Long road to freedom, as Nelson Mandela would write about.
Freedom. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the separate self wants to maintain, because the separate self tells you that it is you, and it must continue existing forever because it is you and it's real, and it wants you to continue believing it. And so, of course, it fears its destruction. This teaching is directly teaching. He's not pulling any punches. He's teaching us directly that this doesn't exist. So, of course, it feels threatened. It feels like it's hugely under threat from this teaching. And then there's this existential anxiety. Or, I don't even exist. And so I'd rather just not learn this. Let me, fear this. I don't want to learn this stuff.
Run away from it, right?
I run away, and just run away back into my old belief system.
Yeah.
Or a new version of it, whatever, but just don't give me the truth.
Or seek distractions in the external world.
Yeah. Rather than the discomfort of the existential anxiety. I can't deal with this, so let me veg out in front of the TV, or munch on some chocolate or ice cream, or go shopping, or whatever.
Good. It sounds good, though, right?
Yeah. Any minute now.
Can you choose another example? Because the chocolate,
But you see, it's a distraction. It's a distraction.
The chocolate's a distraction, really. I can eat chocolate and read this. It's a distraction, but I can eat chocolate and read discourse.
But you know what I'm saying. It's like anything to not have to face the existential anxiety. So comfort, sense perceptions. There's comfort in that. Oh, this is real. Oh, okay, well, look, this is real, really. So just take it. That's nice. That's good. So forget all this nonsense and just focus on what's seemingly real in your immediate experience.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
And all this existential anxiety. The ego will tell you, well, what are you doing this for? You're tormenting your mind. This is crazy. Just
Yeah, go back into the world. Go have fun and play, right?
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't so bad. It's okay. You can make it.
Go
you can
play
make it all right.
music with your friends, right?
Or whatever, whatever it's telling you, because it doesn't want to be undone. Whereas kind of, it's a very systematic, disciplined approach to undoing it. And
Yeah.
of course, it's going to resist that.
Yeah.
But, it's what you really want. This is freedom.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
discipline, with the self-discipline comes
Yeah.
freedom, because you're learning this, you're entrenching it deeply in your mind so that you can stay rooted in your true awareness, no matter what the ego
Yeah.
does, because you've trained yourself to that extent.
Yeah. Getting there slowly but surely.
It's like the combat training. If
Yes.
you really want to train troops, you don't give them easy training. You give them really tough training. So they're ready for the extreme situation of combat where, stuff's flying all over the place, bullets flying, and, it's like, you have to operate in that crazy environment and stay focused and stay centered. Well, if you haven't had training to allow you to do that, you're going to fall apart, aren't you?
Well, I
So
think
that's why
I've
they make
received my training here. I'm telling you, I'm facing a big ego.
Yeah. And so it's good. You're training yourself. If you can do this, then you can do it in less tempting circumstances. Okay, so teaching and learning. Shall we do one more paragraph?
I think I've had it.
Yeah, I'm also
Timing out.
reaching
Okay,
the end of it.
We did 6 paragraphs, so that means we've got another 10 to go tomorrow.
Oh,
We did 6.
Yeah, we did 3 to start.
3 from before. And
Yeah,
then
so
3
if we
now.
do another 2, then we're halfway, basically. Then tomorrow will be 8 paragraphs rather than 10. But
Say
it's
one
up to
for
you.
you, one for me. John, one for you, one for me. You see, you're the one that pushed me to stay in the first place. See?
okay. Well, with speed.
With speed. Okay, so teaching and learning are your greatest strengths now. This doesn't look like there's much translation here, actually, so that's good.
Should we just go straight to the alternative?
Yeah.
Yes.
Teaching and learning are your greatest strengths now, because they enable you to change your mind and help others to change theirs. So teaching and learning are my greatest gifts.
Well, let's just read it first in the translation first.
Refusing to change your mind will not prove that the separation has not occurred. Okay, I think that's
Don't
okay.
understand that. Refusing to change your mind is not going to prove that it hasn't occurred. You must change your mind in order to prove that the separation has not occurred.
The dreamer who doubts the reality of its dream while he is still, of his dream while he is still dreaming, is not really healing his split mind.
He wants to stay in the dream. Yes.
Stay with the
It's
chocolate.
the start. Doubting the reality of your dream is the start. But you must, the next step is to let it go. Say, actually, I'm going to accept that it's not real. I'm not just going to doubt it. I'm actually going to accept that it's not real. And I accept it as these things show up in my experience by letting them go, saying that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. That's how I accept it.
You dream of a separated ego, separated self, and believe in a world that rests upon it. Okay? This is very real to you. You cannot undo it by not changing your mind about it. You cannot undo it by not changing your mind about it. If you are willing to renounce the role of guardian of your thought system and open it to me, I will correct it very gently and lead you back to pure formless awareness of perfect love.
That is lovely.
It is lovely. So let's just translate that to my teaching and learning are my greatest strengths now.
Yeah. because they enable me to change my mind and help others to change theirs.
Yeah.
Refusing to change my mind will not prove that the separation has not occurred. The dreamer who doubts the reality of the dreamer, you could say, if I doubt, yeah, if I doubt the reality of my dream while I am still dreaming, if I,
Yeah, you're
If
doing
I,
all right.
the dreamer, maybe, no?
oh yeah, if I the dreamer, yeah, it's good. If I the dreamer doubt the reality of my dream while I am still dreaming, I am not healing my split mind.
So it's the start. To doubt the reality of a dream is the start.
Yeah,
But to heal my split mind, I must let it go.
yeah,
So it's the choice to say, okay, I'm not just doubting the reality of my dream, I'm denying the reality of my dream. That's the forgiveness.
my dream of a separated self.
My split mind, you forgot my split mind. I'm
Yeah,
not really
sorry,
healing
my
my-
split.
yeah.
My dream of a separated self and belief in a world. My dream of a separated self and my belief.
I dream of a separated self and believe in a world that rests upon it.
I dream of a separated self and believe in a world that rests upon it. Yep. Okay. This is very real to me. I cannot undo it by not changing my mind about it. If I am willing to renounce the role of guardian of my thought system and open it to Yeshua, yeah, I will correct it very gently and lead and
Myself.
go back.
Myself back.
Or and
Maybe we should say
return.
and open it to my true self.
Yeah.
I will
Rather
correct
than
it.
Yeshua.
I will correct it. Oh, yeah, I will correct it and very gently return to pure formless awareness of perfect.
So we can either say Yeshua, because he's talking about him, but really what he symbolizes is the Christ. He is the true self.
Yeah. I like true self.
So
When you
should we
put it
keep
that
it as true self?
Yeah.
Rather than I being Yeshua, as the personalized, some kind of. Some people find that helpful. What do you think? What's more helpful? To Yeshua, he will correct it, or my true self, it will correct it?
Well, I quite like Jeshua actually.
But it's I will correct it, right? I as my true self.
Yeah, well, this would have to be he. He will correct it.
Oh, yeah, if it's Yeshua, yes.
Yeshua. So we're giving it over. We're saying he's our elder brother. He's our teacher. And he will correct it. So, okay. And in the context of teaching, learning, he's the teacher. He's the guru.
Okay.
Just not human. He's not human anymore, but he's
symbol.
teaching us.
It's a symbol.
Yeah. He's the teacher who's attained the knowledge and he's teaching it to us. He'll correct it very gently and lead me back to pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay. So read it from the top.
Teaching and learning are my greatest strengths now because they enable me to change my mind and help others to change theirs. Refusing to change my mind will not prove that the separation has not occurred. If I, the dreamer, doubt the reality of my dream while I am still dreaming, I am not really healing my split mind. I dream of a separated self and believe in and believe in a world that rests upon it. This is very real to me. I cannot undo it by not changing my mind about it. If I am willing to renounce the role of guardian of my thought system and open it to Jeshua, he will correct it very gently and lead me back to pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Cannot undo it. I just thought I cannot
Correct it.
let it go.
Not let it go. Yeah.
I cannot let it go by not changing my mind about it. I must change my mind about it to let it go. Okay. So what's he saying there in summary?
He's saying that teaching and learning are my greatest
Well, the essence of it, it's about changing my mind, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But don't read it again. Just like what is he saying?
Yeah.
Executive summary. What's he saying?
Okay. It's saying if I decide firmly to go with spirit, I will get there.
That's a good one.
Okay. Very executive summary.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
So he's saying, if I doubt, no, I'm refusing to change my mind. Is not going to work. I have to change my mind to let it go.
Yeah.
And just questioning the reality of my dream, just doubting it is not enough. I actually have to let it go. I have to deny the reality of my dream, not just doubt it. That's what radical forgiveness is. And then he's saying, well, open your thought system to me. If you open to this teaching coming via the course, Yeshua will correct it very gently. So it's the most sort of gentle process. It doesn't always feel that way, but it's much gentler than other paths. The path of the way of the cross, crucifying yourself. So it's much more gentle. It's a systematic, progressive undoing that he's taking us on this journey through the course.
Excellent. Okay, that was 5 minutes. Orally, less than 5 minutes.
Did you time it?
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah. So why did we take so long? Why did we take so long for the others? This is the question.
Yeah, you should time the others then, John.
The others took like hours. Okay, so where are we?
I'll try to do
One more, last paragraph. Okay, Aurelie, you'll
let's do it.
close it out for us. Let's do it. Then we've done 8.
Bring it on.
And there's 8 tomorrow. Yeah, and we're ending. This is early. It's 9:20. It's 10 your time.
That's good.
Okay, so every good teacher.
Yeah.
Quite a short one as well. Every good teacher.
Every good teacher hopes to give his students so much of his own learning that they will one day no longer need him. Yeah, this is good. This is the one true goal of the teacher. It is impossible to convince the ego of this because it goes against all of its own laws.
Okay, so the separate self.
So it's impossible to convince the separate self of this, okay, because it goes against all of its own laws. But remember that laws are set up to protect the continuity of the system in which the lawmaker believes. It is natural for the ego to try to protect itself once you have made it, but it's not natural for you to want to obey its laws unless you believe them. So it's natural for the separate self to try to protect itself once you have made it, but it's not natural to you to want to obey its laws unless you believe them. The ego cannot make this choice because of the nature of its origin. The separate self cannot make this choice because of the nature of its origin. You can because of the nature of yours.
The nature of your origin. Just talking about. Okay. So
All
I'd
right.
say that's a thought system. The thought
Yeah,
system
the system, yeah.
the lawmaker believes. Protect itself once you've made it, but it's not natural for you to want to obey its laws unless you choose to believe them.
You.
Yeah. You choose to believe them. And sometimes italicized, that's interesting. You choose to believe them. So that's like a decision maker in your mind,
Yeah.
saying, yeah, I choose to believe these laws.
Obey. And
Yeah,
choose to believe.
choose to obey them because I choose to believe them. That's why
It's not
I obey
natural
them.
for you
So
to want to obey.
so the laws, you look at the laws of this world. You look at things like COVID was a great example. I choose to obey that because I choose to believe in my separate self. That's
okay.
what
Yeah.
is really going on. So I'll obey the laws because I want to still believe in my separate self,
Okay,
in my
I'm
body,
separate.
and that I could be threatened. And so, yes, I'll obey these laws because it's perpetuating my separate self.
Hmm.
And it says the separate self cannot make this choice because of the nature of its origin. So the separate self, if you believe it, must be bound to make false choices. You will believe in false laws if you believe in the separate self. Inevitable.
Yeah.
So you can only have empathy if people are caught up in that system. Well, of course, they're bound to make that choice, aren't they? That's what the separate self will dictate because of the nature of its origin. It's false. It's a delusion. So what can you expect but insane choices?
Yeah.
And you can, so your true self, maybe, but your true self, because of the nature of its origin. Do you think that's better?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Well, where does he come from again? My true self? We talked
Well,
about
the original was your you can. So you're saying you can. You say
but my true, where does it come
yourself.
from? The origin of my true self here. It says your true self can because of the nature of its origin.
Yeah. So where does your true self come from? So what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, where do you think?
Yeah, an extension of pure formless awareness.
Yeah. Your true self comes from truth. It's a natural self, the one self that extends from pure formless awareness of perfect love. So it's in the Christ or the true self is the extension of that awareness. So its origin is in pure formless awareness of perfect love. And you can make this choice because of your origin, the true origin.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It says you got to read you in context, because sometimes he talks about you is referring to the separate self. You identifying with the separate self. But here, you, the true you, your true self, can, because of the nature of
its origin.
Nature of your true origin. Maybe we want to be explicit. Because of the nature.
Of its true origin, no?
Shouldn't it be my true self can because of the nature of?
Yeah, but it's not the personalized one.
Yeah, we're not personalizing it.
Okay.
The true self can because of the nature of its origin.
Okay.
This is just the alternative text.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's good like this.
Yeah.
So, every good teacher hopes to give its students so much of its own learning that they will one day no longer need it. Should we leave it like that?
I mean, his students, so much of his own learning, that they will one day no longer need it.
Mm.
That's what happens when you do global replace. A good teacher hopes to give one day no longer need
Him. Mm.
need him. So Yeshua's aim is to do away with himself. He doesn't need to.
To what?
It's to do away with himself. That he's not necessary as a
Oh,
teacher.
yeah.
We
Mm.
just merge with him. We become one with him in the Christ mind, and then
Mm.
the teaching, learning situation is over. So this is the one true goal.
As a teacher.
Good teacher.
Or
hopes
this
to
is
give-
his one true goal, since we talk about the teacher. Mm.
Well, we want to personalize it. So it's my one true goal
As a
as a
teacher.
teacher.
Yeah. It's impossible to convince my separate self of this. No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe my separate self of this, because it goes against all of its own of his own laws, maybe.
No, it's my
Oh, no,
separate
its
self.
own laws, okay. But remember that laws are set up to protect the continuity of the thought system, the separate thought system.
Yeah, the thought system in which the lawmaker believes. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay. It is
But-
natural for the separate self to try to protect.
Laws are set up to, you don't need to remember, but laws are set up to protect the,
It's natural for my separate self to try to protect itself once I have made it.
thought system in which, set up to protect the thought system which the lawmaker believes. It's natural for
My separate self to try to protect itself once I have made it. But it's not natural for me to want to obey its laws only unless I choose to believe them. My separate self cannot make this choice because of the nature of its origin. My true self can, because of the nature of its origin. Mhm.
Okay, so read it from the top.
Every good teacher hopes to give his students so much of his own learning that they will one day no longer need him. This is my one true goal as a teacher. It is impossible to convince my separate self of this because it goes against all of its own laws. But laws are set up to protect the thought system in which the lawmaker believes. It is natural for my separate self to try to protect itself once I have made it. But it's not natural for me to want to obey its laws unless I choose to believe them. My separate self cannot make this choice because of the nature of its origin, and my true self can because of the nature of its origin. So it can make the choice
This is the nature of its. We want to say origin again, or
of it. My true self can because of its nature then.
the nature of its origin. That's what it means.
I would repeat it.
Okay, that's
Origin.
clearer, I guess.
Just to believe.
Okay, so happy with that. What's he saying there? Summary. Key points. Yeah, so it's like the overview. What's the key point of the paragraph? Shall I help you out?
Yeah, it's talking about the laws here, more like the laws of that the ego is trying to protect through its thought system. Through the separate self is trying to protect its thought system. But I can choose to believe these laws, obey these laws, or choose to go back to, again, the true self by believing in its origin.
No. So my separate self is going to want to protect itself by believing in the laws that it's made. So the whole defensive structure, all the ego's laws, the laws of this world, which the ego has to believe in order to maintain itself. So this is why people continue to believe in these false laws, because they have to if they're going to believe in a false self. But he's saying we don't have to.
No.
So my separate self cannot choose to not obey these laws because of the nature of its origin. It's false, so it must obey the false laws that it's set up. And it feels safe when it does that. But my true self can see through all of that and recognize that the false laws are just perpetuating the false belief system.
Yes.
I must let go of my belief in the laws in order to undo my belief in the self.
Oh, that's a good one. I let go.
Which is why we then, we must let go of our belief in those laws. And we can do that because of the nature of our true origin. As source.
So you're saying I must let go of my belief in the laws if I want to let go of my separate self, right?
Yeah. You can't believe in its laws
and
then deny it. It comes as a package deal. If you accept the laws of the ego, then you must accept the ego as the truth.
As part of the deal.
Yeah. And so we could see that with COVID. Why did so many people obey these crazy dictates? And it didn't make any sense because their separate self dictated it. They had to. If they wanted to carry on.
That's why I want to believe in innocence. Yes, I don't want laws to punish anymore. I don't want to believe in innocence.
Yeah. Then you believe in the laws of the true self rather than of the separate self.
Yeah. That's what I'm working towards now. The unconditional love, no matter what.
Yeah.
What happens.
Good. Okay.
Very good, very good, Orly. That was 10 minutes, but that's what I did as well.
Well, we did two paragraphs.
I said 5, but it was 10 for myself.
Well, you see, the true self is timeless, John.
Yes, that's true. A good reminder. Okay, so we did 8 paragraphs. Well done. So we've got 8 to do tomorrow. So we'll finish this. We'll finish this section. Pick it up where we left off.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Okay,
and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Orly.
Namaste.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Namaste. Okay. Bye.